Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a simple Python project, basically called a Hangman game, something like that. So let's open up our terminal and get started. Go to the direct desktop, then create our directory here. You can create your directory anywhere you want. Then we'll enter the directory. Right inside here, we'll create a main UI, that's a Python file, and then we'll open this folder in our VS Code. Here we are in VS Code. Open our file here. We're going to start by importing the random module. Right there. So here we'll create our word list. Words list can have any random word. Let's say let's have that for now. Then let's have a variable. We'll call it run word. This one will store our random word that will be selected by our random module. So to get that, to achieve that, we'll call our run. We're going to put up there. That's going to represent our random module. And then we'll use a function called choice in random module. And then we'll pass an argument, our list, as an argument. So basically, if you don't know what an argument is a value that's passed in a function when it's called. Yeah. So let's test this using the print function. Call our run word to get printed on our terminal. Save the work. Our terminal. So to run Python files on the terminal in Linux, we just type Python 3 and then the name of the file. Right. So that's our first word. If you run it again, Python again, run it again. This time it's cut. Car. Python again. Cut. You see the idea, so it's randomly selecting these words from our list. All right, so we don't need this now. We are going to create an art, which is going to be shown every time a user inputs a letter that is not in the random word. To do that, we'll use a function. We'll call it def. It's a keyword that's used to tell Python that it's going to be a function. Now, function name is going to be showArts, which is going to take for now it's going to take a parameter. Triangles like this. All right, this is how they create a function in Python. You can have a variable. It's going to be a dictionary of tuples. So all these data structures in Python, we'll continue talking about them in more episodes to come. So we'll have a key. Dictionaries have keys and values in their items. It's not like a list here where I just have a value. This one, you have a key and a value. It doesn't have to necessarily be numeric. So here we'll have our value. That's an O. Sorry, it's supposed to be a tuple. A tuple we use parentheses to represent a tuple in Python. I'll put a comma here. Create another one. Same thing. Then tab with an arm. Okay, well, let me just finish up this and I'll continue the video when I'm done with it. All right, so this is our art. You can just copy exactly what I've done here. So notice here we have used 2 backslashes. This is because this first one is in Python, when actually in most programming languages is organized as an escape sequence. So you can't use it by itself. Actually, if we remove one, you realize that it will bring an error. So it's recognized as an escape sequence. So whenever the compiler sees that, it expects something in front of it. You know, it's mostly used in strings, as we'll see in the series to come. So basically, let's see how this program works. So we want when the user inputs an incorrect letter that does not exist in our random word, one of these should be shown. So let's have our for loop. Our for loop will help us iterate through this dictionary. So we have for line in then the index of what we want, of the item we want. Then we print the line. So let me put an example here, just show you how this works. Let's put 5 here, and then we come and run this project down here. To run it, we have to get out, and then we call the function. Let's say show ads. Actually, let's just try since we already have a parameter up there, so we can pass in an argument down here. So that's the difference between a parameter and an argument. A parameter is basically what you put in the parentheses of a function while you're creating it, whereas an argument is what is a value you put in the parentheses when you're calling the function. So here our parameter, our argument will be 4. For one example, we'll save this and see what happens on the terminal. See what happens. We create a human-like. But now, how does this work? Remember, this is our 4th item in our dictionary. Actually, it's our 5th item because we're starting from index 0. So what our for loop is doing, it is iterating through this right here, what I'm highlighting here. So it's going to go in the first time, it's going to go in here, because when you pass in the 4 will be in our index here. It will be passed in here as a key rather. So this loop is going to go check and print this 0, and then it will come back and print this item, and it will come back and print the last item, which forms this. Okay, so that's how our for loop is working. That's how it's helping us print this human-like figure. So let's then make it 5 and give it the 5 arguments and see what happens. So now it's printing everything. Same idea. It prints this 0, and then it comes and prints these slashes, and then the lastly prints these slashes. So that's what this 30 and 31 line of code is doing. All right. We can also create another function called def show hint. This one we'll just leave it for now. All right, so now we're going to go to our other loop, and we'll put it in our main function because I want us to use only functions. I want us to get used to the idea of functions. So now we'll use our def keyword again, main, because this is going to be our main function. I'm going to take any argument, so I won't put a parameter there. All right, so this is going to be the function running everything. Let's have hint. Localize hint to our run word, but it will be a list of a string item. We'll do something like this, and then use an asterisk, use the len or length function, then pass we'll pass run word, right here, run word as our argument. And try it out down here to show you. I don't want to code everything without you understanding what I'm doing. So we can call this function down here. Let's have a print function here. Print our hints. Save. And clear out this. That's what it's doing. So this, I don't know which one this is, but this is the idea. So now that we have our hint, we can go back to show hint to pass in our parameter here, and then we'll just return use the join function, then we'll pass in our hints as an argument. This code is going to get rid of the quotes and brackets to just pass it in as an argument in our print function here, and then we'll call it show hints. Since it has a parameter on the other side, we'll have to pass in an argument here, and our argument in this case is hint. Save and see what happens. That's it. Get rid of this. We'll have our trials. We'll have trials up there. So we'll have our trials. Apply it to 0. Those ones will this variable is just going to track how many times the user has failed. So now we'll have is running. It's a Boolean variable that's going to keep our while loop running. So here we've been using a for loop, so now I'm introducing a new loop called a while loop. The while loop takes in a condition. In this case, we are going to pass in a is running condition, so that when is running is equal to true, this function should keep on running. So to do that, we just type in the name of the variable here. Now we are going to, the first thing in this loop, we're going to ask the user to input a letter, and we'll store it in user inputs. To get the user input from the terminal, we'll use an input function, which is going to read whatever the user has inputted in the terminal and return it as a string. And it also gives a prompt, so we can say enter your letter right there. And now that the user has entered their letter, we are going to check if the letter is in the random word. To do that, we'll say if user input dot lower, because function helps us to lower. For example, if the user has inputted a capital or an uppercase letter, it helps us lower it. Why are we doing this? Because Python is case sensitive. Yeah. So this Q is different from this Q in Python. They are not the same. So if we don't have this dot lower, Python will not actually recognize that this is the same as this. That's why we use that. So we'll say if Python will lowercase it, and we'll use this in run word. Remember, run word is a global variable, so you can access it in every function. Then we also lower it so that it recognizes it. It recognizes every letter in it. All right, so we'll have our pass here so that we come back for it. I want to create the else before I forget. So say else, also put a pass, so that sometimes when you write a lot of code, you forget the else, and that causes errors. So to avoid that, you can just implement them and just use the pass keyword to keep them there hanging without bringing you errors. All right, so now that we have checked if the letter is in the random word, what is the program going to do? The program is now going to get the letter and the index of the letter in the random word, and then update our hints based on the same index. How do we do that? We're going to use a for loop again. Say for, we'll get the index, comma, and then we'll get the letter 2 in. We'll use enumerate, and then pass in our run word lower. So basically, enumerate is a new function, and it allows you to keep track of the number of iterations in a loop. Yes, so we'll have an if statement here. So now that we have got the index and the letter, we need a conditional function, which is an if statement, to check if this letter is the same as what the user has inputted. To do that, we'll say if user input dot lower is equal to, this is how we check equality. So if user input is equal to the letter that we are going to get from the random word, we can also lower it. So what we do then, if it's the same, what we do here, we are going to get our hint, pass in the index that we have got up there, and equalize it to the user input.lower. So what is this doing? This one is getting the hint at this index, whatever index we have got here, and placing this letter the user inputted in that index. Let's save that. Maybe we can try it. Let's print show hint here, and we'll pass in our hint variable, or rather parameter argument, sorry. And then we'll bring our terminal. Let's try it. Let's put a letter. Let's put D. So here, I think D is not in there. All right, it's not working. Why isn't it working? Let's print this show hint again up here, so we see what we are dealing with. Maybe that's a call. All right, let's put. See what it's doing? It's replacing it. All right, so this is what our code below here is doing, our hint index. So what it does is when the user inputs a letter that's in the random word, it's going to get the index of that letter in the random word and replace the underscore at the same index in the hint list. That's what we're doing here. And then here we are printing what you're seeing here. Then it prints this. So I think we don't need this part. Yeah, we don't need this. So now, else if the letter the user has inputted is not in the random word, here we come to our else statement. And what we'll do here is call our hangman at sorry, it's supposed to have something like this here. All right, so we'll come down here. The first thing we have to do is show an art. We'll have to show the art. To do that, we'll just call our function, and then we'll pass in our trials as an argument. So after passing in the trials as an argument, we have to increment the trials. So when the user fails once, it should increase so that we keep counts like a password. When you fail once, it keeps counting until you're out of guesses. So we'll increment it. We'll use this incrementation operator, which is like this. So we'll be incrementing the current value by 1. So this is what it's doing. So now that for example, now that trials is on 0, what this one is doing is getting 0 and adding 1 to it. So that's what it's doing. All right, let's try this. Let's see how our game works. Let's terminate this. All right, enter letter. Let's put F. All right, see, I have failed. That's why it's printing this. Maybe to make it more fun, let me show that. Actually, let me show the int so that the user can see what they're dealing with before they try again. Can try to guess based on the number of underscores here and see. Simply this height. All right, let's put F again. All right, so now I failed. Let's fail deliberately and see what happens. Fail again, fail again, fail again. So we have failed, but the problem is now it's allowing us to continue. It has even crashed. How can we avoid this? To avoid the program from crashing, maybe we can add an extra if statement here. Still in the loop, we can check if trials is equal to 6. So why am I using 6? Because when you count these items, they're actually 6. So what we're going to do here is say if trials is equals to 6, then what will happen here is first of all, we'll have a print statement telling the user that you lost. And then we'll have an escape sequence with an end this time. This one means that now whatever is going to come after the slash and the n is going to go on another line. That's what it means. So you can have the same, you can use the same print function, but it will display on two different lines. So you can say on another line, you can say try again later. That is it. And also we can show the user can use this format and show the user what the word was. So we'll say the word, the random word was. We'll use these parentheses to pass in our value. We'll call run word and something like that. And on top of that, we have to make this variable is running false because the user has run out of guesses. To do that, we'll have to come update the value of our variable here. We'll make it false now. So here, when the user is out of guesses, the loop is not going to run again. It will just terminate and the program will end. Let's try this. Sorry. Python 3 main. Enter letter. Let's put H. It's wrong. Wrong again. Wrong again. Wrong. All right. So here, instead of crashing, it just ends. So it said it has printed our part. It is now telling the user you have lost. Try again later. The random word was mango. That's how it's done. So I also want to terminate it when the word is correct. We can just have another condition here. We'll use an else if. In Python it's called elif, like this. Sorry, without parentheses. So we can check another condition here, which will be we can actually, before we do this, let's come up here and clean up this word. So we can say clean word is equals to, we localize it to show hint. So basically this is going to get the value which has been returned by this variable. All right, so now we'll come back here and then comment this. Then we'll say if cleaned word low is the same as the random word, which is our run word. We'll kind of do everything here with a few exceptions. For example, let's just for example, this will say you have won. That's it. We don't need this part, and then we need this, and then we also need this to be false. So let's run it and see. So enter your letter. So we have an error. We are missing an argument, so we need to pass in hint here. Right. So I think this word is mango. Oh, which word can this be? Let me see. Maybe Python. All right. Python. Which other one? Which other letter is there? All right. So when the user guesses the word correctly, this is what gets printed. You have won. The random word was Python. So basically that's our program right there. So now you can try out this application. So if you have any questions or anything you want to add on, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you want this code, I'm going to leave a link to my GitHub. If this video was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.